What does Bonner's addition now mean for the Fever's title potential?
I think the Indiana Fever, with the addition of DeWanna Bonner, after already adding Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham, are now in the championship conversation, along with the New York Liberty, the Minnesota Lynx, and the Las Vegas.
What does Bonner's arrival mean for the Fever's championship potential? With DeWanna Bonner joining the Indiana Fever, after already adding Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham, they are now firmly in the championship conversation alongside the New York Liberty, Minnesota Lynx, and Las Vegas Aces. Bonner's decision has sent shockwaves through the WNBA, and her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas, is not thrilled.
Like, when you go down the list of, like, all the trades and all the moves and everything, it takes you a while to get to DeWanna Bonner, but her going to Indiana is, I mean, with what they now have, they already had it. They got a team.
Instead of reuniting with Thomas at the Phoenix Mercury, Bonner has opted to head to Indiana to team up with none other than Caitlin Clark. While Bonner is now set to play in Indianapolis, this means she will be separated from her fiancée, Alyssa Thomas, who remains with the Mercury in Phoenix. The two have been longtime teammates at the Connecticut Sun, making this move even more surprising. If you're wondering what this means for the Fever's title chances and how Thomas is handling the news, stick around because this decision is shaking up the league. Bonner's move has flipped the WNBA on its head, and it's not just because of her smooth crossover. The six-time All-Star had a big decision to make this offseason, and many assumed she'd take the obvious route, joining Thomas in Phoenix to chase another championship. But in a shocking twist, she chose Indiana instead.
DeWanna Bonner, while she's in Indianapolis for the Indiana Fever, she will be separated from her wife, well, soon-to-be wife, Alyssa Thomas. They are currently engaged, okay? Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner, for years, have been teammates at the Connecticut Sun. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, she's going to be in Indiana and Indy, whereas her wife, Alyssa Thomas, will be in Phoenix Mercury. I'm sorry, she'll be a Mercury, a Phoenix Mercury, but she'll be in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, two totally different regions of the U.S., right? So again, it's like the fact that I'm sure that money talked. And Stephanie White is the head coach. I would love to play for Stephanie White. She's an amazing, incredible coach.
So why did she make this move? The Fever haven't been serious championship contenders in years. So what drew Bonner to Indiana? I'm ready to declare the Fever as legitimate WNBA title threats. Bonner isn't just any player. She's a scoring machine with 2 championship rings and a resume that reads like a dream.
Versatility for them. Coming into this offseason, they needed a stretch 4, a player who could run the floor. They got that in Howard and they got that in Bonner. They also got versatility by signing DeWanna Bonner. Not necessarily the sexiest, biggest name signings, but the pieces they needed to contend for a championship. I think now Indiana is in that championship conversation.
In DeWanna Bonner, the Indiana Fever have signed one of the all-time greats who brings major big game experience to Indiana along with her. Bonner is a 2-time WNBA champion and quite literally the most experienced postseason player ever. Her 87 playoff games are more than any player in WNBA history. But Bonner is still playing at a very high level. She is a 6-time All-Star, making the All-Star team in each of her last 2 seasons, and has gotten MVP votes in 6 different seasons, including last year. Her length makes her a major weapon on both ends of the floor, allowing her to get shots off regardless of how tight the defense is, and finish in tight quarters inside. Her game is multi-dimensional. She's knocked down more than 600 threes in her career, but she's also very effective as a driver, a slasher, and a passer.
Standing at 6'4" with an impressive wingspan, she can defend multiple positions and drain threes with ease. In 2024, she averaged 15 points and 6 rebounds per game, while shooting over 41% from the field, a level of consistency that every coach dreams of. Adding Bonner provides the Fever with much-needed versatility. Heading into this offseason, Indiana needed a stretch 4 who could run the floor, and they got exactly that in Howard and Bonner. While these may not be the flashiest signings, They are exactly what the team needed to become true championship contenders. But stats alone don't tell the full story. Bonner has a history of stepping up in big moments. In the 2024 playoffs, she dropped 37 points across 2 games against the Fever and played a key role in defending Caitlin Clark. Talk about an audition. The Fever must have been so impressed that they took the "if you can't beat them, sign them" approach. By bringing in Bonner, the Fever have secured one of the most experienced postseason players in WNBA history, with 87 playoff games under her belt, more than any player in league history. Now, imagine being Alyssa Thomas. Her fiancé just chose to play alongside one of her biggest rivals instead of joining her in Phoenix. That's got to sting. Thomas is probably replaying game footage, wondering what could have been, but Bonner is still playing at an elite level, making the All-Star team in her last 2 seasons and earning MVP votes in 6 different seasons, including last year.
Take another look here at the heavy contact. A little bit of a shoulder there. Not a little bit, a lot of a shoulder.
What was the reason for putting you on Caitlin? Usually, DeWanna guards her.
Just game planning, trying to come up with a strategy. They beat us last time, so we had to do something different. Yeah, that was about it. It was nothing behind it. They got 2 great guards, so somebody got to step up and play defense. And I mean, that's the only way to beat them. So just took on the challenge, and she's a great player. I know next game she's gonna come out firing, so got to go back, watch some video, and see what we can do. But it was nothing behind it. I mean, that's the only way we can win, honestly.
Her length and versatility make her a nightmare matchup on both ends of the floor. However, Bonner's decision isn't just about basketball. It's about believing in a vision and stepping out of her comfort zone. And let's be honest, playing alongside Caitlin Clark is an enticing prospect. Clark has been making headlines and breaking records since stepping onto the court, and now Bonner gets to be part of the Clark experience firsthand. The Fever didn't just land Bonner. They've been making strategic moves all off-season. With Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Sydney Colson joining the mix, it feels like Indiana is assembling their own version of the Basketball Avengers.
You've been asked to do something today that you haven't done all season. Guard Caitlin Clark. She's 0 for 3 when you're defending her. How have you made your presence felt there?
Well, let me knock on some wood real quick. She's a great player. I know she's going to come out second half ready to go, so I got a key in.
Your current team has made some interesting moves the last few days. How do you feel about what your roster suddenly looks like?
I'm excited. Obviously, you know, we made some great moves. I think, you know, Kelly and Amber and the whole, you know, Fever organization are, you know, they're helping us win now. And I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are gonna, you know, complement each other really, really well.
Clark is their Captain America, and Bonner is their sharpshooting Black Widow. So why did Bonner choose Indiana over playing with Thomas? Sure, the opportunity to play with Clark is a major factor, but there's more to it. Bonner is also reuniting with her former coach, Stephanie White. It's like putting the band back together, only this time with a new superstar lead singer in Clark. The Fever are tired of being the league's underdog. They're building something special, and Bonner wants to be a part of it from the ground up.
And while Bonner has never played for the Fever before, she'll come to Indiana with plenty of connections thanks to her time in Connecticut, where she played 2 seasons under Fever head coach Stephanie White, assistant coach Austin Kelly, and player development coach Keith Porter. With Bonner, the Fever can now boast a starting lineup where all 5 players are also all-stars.
Does she want to go with her fiance, her wife, to Phoenix, Alyssa Thomas? The answer is no. She could have gone back to Phoenix, okay, where she played for many years, but instead, she goes to the Indiana Fever, who have now, just like that, of course, have Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, re-signed Kelsey Mitchell, got Natasha Howard and all of her playoff and championship expertise. And now DeWanna Bonner joins the Fever as well. And instantly, every weakness that Fever team had last year has been fixed.
Bonner has never played for the Fever before, but she arrives in Indiana with plenty of familiar faces from her Connecticut days, including assistant coach Austin Kelly and player development coach Keith Porter. With Bonner on board, the Fever now have a starting lineup where all 5 players are former All-Stars. Meanwhile, Thomas isn't taking this news well. Known for her intense competitiveness, she must feel like she just lost a major game. Her fiancé choosing to team up with Clark instead of her. That's got to feel like a betrayal.
When we were watching that playoff round with the Fever and the Sun in the first round of the W playoffs, one of the storylines or talking points was the lack of experience versus inexperience. I mean, the Sun were the most experienced playoff team in the playoffs between Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner and all the people that they had there. And the Fever were, of course, the most inexperienced. And right away, that changes and shifts. I think right away, and it's not hyperbole to say, the Fever became one of the best 4 teams, from being one of the best 8 teams to one of the best 4 teams, period, in the WNBA. So my question to you, Gary, which I think I already know the answer to, is, do you really see this being is this a Fever dream? Is this for real? Will the Fever win
100%.
the champion? So you're skipping, let's just win one playoff game and going right to the champion.
Think back to that time your best friend ditched you for the popular crowd. Now, amplify that feeling to a WNBA level. Thomas and Bonner were supposed to be the power couple in Phoenix, ready to dominate the league. But sometimes life throws unexpected curveballs. Instead of suiting up alongside Thomas, Bonner is now preparing to compete against her. And waiting for her in Indiana? Caitlin Clark, the player who's been living rent-free in Thomas's head all season.
Mentioned what they were missing, which was a lot of things, both tangible and intangible, size, depth, and experience. They checked every single one of those boxes, and that's just the 5 who are going to be on the court. They're getting a coach, so I'm thinking DeWanna Bonner chose Indiana just as much for the prospect and the allure of playing with Caitlin Clark. Right there, equivalent to that is playing with a coach in a system that she had success with in Connecticut, and Steph White going from Connecticut to...
We've seen Thomas's fiery nature on the court, and this could push her to an entirely new level. She once said her connection with Bonner, both on and off the court, was something she cherished. Now, that connection is being put to the test in ways she never imagined. The Fever are no longer just a young team with potential. They are now built to win. The additions of Bonner, Howard, and Cunningham address every weakness they had last season. They've transformed from being a team on the rise to immediate contenders.
Has also scored the 2nd most playoff points of all time and is 3rd all time in playoff rebounding. Currently 5 shy of Tamika Catchings for 2nd. Bonner is the 4th all-time leading scorer in WNBA history, and in her first game with the Fever will likely move into 3rd all-time. She's currently just 6 points behind Tina Thompson for 3rd on the all-time scoring charts. And speaking of Tina Thompson, she'll likely pass her on the all-time rebounding leaderboards in her first game with the Fever too. Bonner is 9th all-time in rebounding, just 3 shy of 8th place Thompson.
The WNBA's top teams, the Aces, Liberty, and Lynx, better be on high alert because Indiana is coming for them. That said, building a super team doesn't always lead to instant success. Chemistry takes time to develop, and figuring out who takes the final shot in crunch time is crucial. The Fever have the talent, but now they need to make it all work. One thing's for sure, fans are loving every second of this drama. Social media is buzzing with memes, debates, and championship predictions. The Fever just took the WNBA by storm.
I like everything about this. Now you have established veteran pieces that aren't just, you know, those bench coaches who are going to give you a couple. No, these are like tangible points, tangible box score fillers. And I didn't call anything last year, but I was high on the Fever last season making a deep run. And they almost proved me right. So there's nothing that the Fever have done to make me think counter to that.
I think we have a common goal. I think our visions are aligned. I think the way we go about our work is aligned, and it's consistent. And you're going to have consistency, and you need consistency.
And adding Bonner to the mix is like throwing gasoline on a fire that was already blazing. Clark herself is hyped about the Fever's moves, saying the organization is focused on winning now. This isn't just about the future anymore. Indiana is ready to make a statement. So, are you ready for what's coming? Because when Clark and Bonner hit the floor together, it's going to be electric. The 2025 season can't get here fast enough, and you better believe it's going to be one to remember. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.